Recording. All right. Yo, what's up, guys? This is ZooTay here. I'm playing PUBG New State, and one of the first things you're gonna want to figure out is the controls. So the controls here are very similar to PUBG Mobile, but there's a few things that are different about it, and we're gonna mainly be focusing on the action buttons for this video. So you can see there's jump, peek, crouch, gyroscope, which is the same as PUBG Mobile, and then the ADS button. So if you go into your button layout, mine's already set up. You'll notice some buttons don't show up on your screen depending on what you have set here on the action button. So let's start with the very first one. So for jump, let's set it to default. So my jump button on default, if you look on the bottom right, it's being highlighted right now. So it's jumping, right? So here I could jump over things and I could vault over things. But let's say you want to jump while you're next to this wall without vaulting over. It happens a lot. Let's say in an actual game, pretend there's a window here, or you're at a ledge and you want to jump shot the enemy, but you don't want to vault over. But you hit the jump button, and because you're next to a ledge, it vaults you over. So you can't like jump up and shoot the enemy if you're at a window or if you're at the balcony edge, right? Which gets people killed a lot. Also, the most common one that I forgot about is there's a wall here, right? And the enemy is on the other side of the wall, and you guys are trying to jump shot each other like this, right? And then you accidentally vault it and you're dead. One tip for that is you go to your control layout, and there's divide and swipe. Now, divide is in the PUBG Mobile version of the game. What divide does, you have your jump button now, and then if you look above the right side of the jump button, I also have a vault button. So now I could stand next to you here and jump as much as I want, and it will never vault me over. So I could jump and shoot people like this. Same with over here. I could jump all I want and it will never vault me over. The only time I will ever vault is if I hit the top right. You see that button lighting up right there? Now it's gonna vault. So that's pretty standard actually. But what's really cool in this game, there's a swipe function. So with swipe, your vault button is gone and all you have is your jump button. And if you just tap the button, no matter how fast you tap it, you will never vault. See, I'm tapping as much as I can, doesn't vault. But if I tap and then swipe up with it, I'm also pressing and holding down. So I press down and I'm holding, it turns into a vault button. So here, I just swipe up on my screen and it will vault me. I think that's really cool. Personally, for me, I will keep it on swipe because it changes two buttons down to one, so you have less buttons to worry about, but you can still easily control when you want to vault or when you want to jump. You shouldn't ever vault over a wall and get yourself killed with this tip. Number two, the peek button. So peek is just basically leaning. When you do none, you just don't have lean functions at all. Divide is the normal one right here. You can't really see it because I have my buttons pretty hidden, but you can see it light up. Those are my lead buttons. So what a New State has though, which is pretty dope, is also a swipe function. Now this swipe function, I put it in the middle of the screen. If I were to actually use swipe, I would not have it here obviously, but I don't think I'm going to use the swipe function here just because I'm so used to, you know, using my two lean buttons. But if you've never played this game before, or you're kind of new, or you want to try something new, I really like this swipe function. It's pretty dope. I might actually switch to it and give it a try, but what you do is you just swipe right and left to lean. So instead of having two buttons, you just have one button. And the less buttons on your screen, but you can still do everything, the better, in my opinion. For most traditional players that, you know, play with leans, I would recommend just put it on divide if you're already used to a regular lean function. Next, we got crouch. Now this is entirely new. A new aspect or a new function of the game is rolling. So when you have it on default, you see it lighting up. It's just the crouch button. If I double tap the crouch though, you see I could roll. So rolling is a new thing in this game. I don't know how useful it'll be. I can imagine in super close range fights, if you gotta like go from one cover to another, rolling might be the play, but it doesn't seem like you roll too far. So that might kind of screw you over. And when you're done rolling, your character stops moving for a little bit. I would recommend you do separate. Because when you have it as default, Notice after each time I roll, my character stands up. He stands all the way up. And if you're in a fight where you have like a small little cover like this, and you want to stay as low as possible, but you also want to roll, you don't want to end up standing up and exposing your head. And your character will stand up by default. So an easier way to fix this is you go to your controls, and for this one, you might want to do separate. Now, if you have separate, if you look at the bottom right, I have a dedicated roll button. And this way, I could roll this whole entire length of the wall, and my player will never stand up. So he will never expose his head over the top. The only downside to this, though, is you have an extra button you need to worry about, right? You got to figure out where you want to keep your roll button and your crouch button, because it's going to be two separate buttons. All right, last but not least, let's see. Gyroscope, just like PUBG Mobile, you could play with no gyroscope. You could play with gyroscope only when you scope in, or you can always have gyroscope on. That's pretty similar. I will go over later the sensitivities. The sensitivities are quite different from PUBG Mobile. Your gyroscope sensitivity and your camera sensitivity are not the same. If you match exactly the same, it's going to feel very different. So gyroscope, I just keep always on because I'm a gyroscope player. And last but not least, the ADS button. So the ADS button is actually really cool. I just found out this feature myself. So first, let's do separate. So when you have it separated, you have your regular ADS. This is my top left, right? When I press it, it goes in. When I let go, it stays like this. When I press and hold it, same thing. There is no hold to lean, by the way, and there's no hold to ADS. Holding while you're ADSing does do something different in this game if you have a different setting up. So right now my buttons are separate, and here's the other ADS. You saw it in the trailers, and it's actually quite useful. Let me demonstrate how much your recoil or your hip fire spread changes. So when you're hip firing someone, usually you're about, let's say, this distance, right? So here's the regular hip fire spread. That's a full clip. And now when you ADS with this button, you see it light up on my bottom right. This is a separate ADS button from this. The most accurate ADS is still your regular ADS, like that. Your bullets will be dead accurate. But when you're hip firing, you don't really want to scope in too hard. So this is the perfect change. You press this button, and the bullets are much more accurate compared to this. So this function is actually really useful. Plus, it looks really cool. So the problem with this, though, it's another extra button you have to worry about. And for me, I actually couldn't figure out where to put this button because I never used this in PUBG Mobile. It's a rather new feature. But if you go back to your settings and you go to control and an ADS button, if you press combined, that button that was here at the bottom right is no longer there. And the way you scope in over your shoulder is you press and hold your ADS button. So right now I'm pressing down and holding the ADS button, and when I let go, it zooms out. And if there's a target that's further away, all I do is tap my ADS button. This is hold, this is tap. So that's actually really cool because when you're in a close range fight, muscle memory will kick in and you'll automatically tap and hold the ADS button, and you'll do this one. And this one you can still move around pretty easily, strafing left and right. So you move the same left and right, and jiggle peeking left and right is really important when you're in a hip fire fight. But your recoil and your spread is going to be better than if you're like this. And so when you're close range fight, just immediately scope in and hold down that scope button and hip fire. And then when you see your target that's further away, you just click in. So I think, oh, I got some subs. Thank you guys for the subs. You guys are going to make it into the YouTube video probably because I don't know how to edit that out. But congrats. Thank you for the subs. You made it into the YouTube video. Yeah, so for ADS button, highly recommend you do combined and just muscle memory that down. And actually, it was Gorilla Gaming. Gorilla Gaming, you're in my settings video. Thank you for the 10 gifted tier 1 subs. A total of 161 gifted subs. But that's it for the controls. I covered everything here. Camera rotation. This one I just always keep disabled. Yeah, that's it. I hope this video helps you guys out, answer some questions. And honestly, I think if you do the way I have my settings set up, it'll help out. You'll definitely gain some advantages. So until next time, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, And I still got the notice for the subs coming in. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you also subscribe to me, which I already said. And yeah, that's it. Peace. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I might have some heavy days, but fuck love. Had a rack to wait. The stage tough. Yeah, my money hibernates. I'm vest up.